Hold on to your butts. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my movie review of 1993's Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg from Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment. I hope you like dinosaur movies, because that's what this is about. Everybody do that dinosaur. Do you mind if I get a sip of coffee real quick? I hope so. I hope not. This movie was based on the 1990 techno thriller Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. And it's proof that it's better to watch the movie before you read the novel. Because, usually I've read a novel, then watched the movie, and it disappointed me. But when you read the novel after you watch the movie, you almost always end up liking both. I love Jurassic Park, the novel, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I was blown away by this movie when I first saw it. Dad took me down to the theater. He tells me on the way, we're going to go watch Jurassic Park. I said, why you always take me to see these weird sounding movies? It sounded like a romantic movie or something, some British lady. I still remember the first time I strode on the grounds of Jurassic Park. But it wasn't that at all. Oh no. Spoiler alert, there are dinosaurs in this movie. It was a great movie. You're really immersed in this thing. I mean, even when the mountain over the T-Rex paddock, it looks kind of like a T-Rex skull, kind of half buried and covered in green foliage and trees. The island, Isla Nublar, is incredible. It really is a wonder to behold. This movie was shot in California and in Hawaii. It took about, 6 months, including post-production. And Steven Spielberg worked on both this film and Schindler's List about at the same time. He made a deal with the studios. Look, all right, you guys, I'll do your kiddie movie, I'll do your Jurassic Park, but you got to let me do this more serious movie, biopic about Oskar Schindler. And the studios said, all right, who's going to say no to Steven Spielberg? I mean, come on. You might notice a trend. I got these, all my reviews seem to be movies directed by Steven Spielberg, and almost all of them are scored by John Williams. I think there's a reason why most of the highest grossing films of all time are involving those two guys. John Williams did an amazing job on this score. This thing won for Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects at the 66th Academy Awards. He should have won for Best Score on this, but there's a trick. John Williams did win for Best Score that year for Schindler's List. Makes sense. Steven Spielberg got involved with a company called DTS, which was Digital Theater Systems, a competitor to Dolby. She blinded me with science. And the digital effects, the visual effects were a product of ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, which became famous for doing the Star Wars movies. Just an incredible amount. I don't think we really appreciate nowadays how revolutionary this stuff was. For us, going to the theater, being used to seeing puppets, being used in animatronics. At the best, we got to see animatronics. But this movie had actual CGI, which looked real. You're sitting there watching dinosaurs on the screen. Real dinosaurs. And then, of course, the actors reacting to things that aren't actually there. I mean, that's amazing. Great acting by everybody involved. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and Richard Attenborough, along with hello, Newman. Hello, Jerry. You remember. Anyway, like I said, we really don't appreciate nowadays how good digital technology is. One of the scenes where the guy, he's like, Dotson, we've got Dotson here. See, nobody cares. That became a meme, by the way. But anyway, he's talking about, when the guy sees the bill at the table and he says, don't be cheap, or don't go cheap on me. I didn't know that what he said next was Hammond's mistake, until I went back and then looked, and I actually had to put the subtitles to really understand what he said. Digital technology it allows us to understand even characters more, because that tells us right there, that scene, the reasons why he betrays Hammond, the owner of Jurassic Park, because he's financially needy. He needs money. Anyway, if there's a theme to this movie at all, it's got to be humility before nature. Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm, says it right at the conference table when they're having that meeting. He says, you got to have, I see the lack of humility in nature here, We've really seen how nature is a tremendous force. And we're not even talking about animals. We're talking about windstorms and hurricanes and typhoons and floods and earthquakes. I think I already said hurricanes. It's just all kinds of tornadoes, just all kinds of events that show us just how powerful nature is. And animal strength is incredible, by the way. You pet owners out there, you got to understand that your animals really are wild at nature, at the base of their nature. They are wild, and you got to kind of help them to satisfy or feed that nature. Play with a string, around your cat. Get those hunting instincts out. Dogs and cats, they love to bite. They fight. They bite. They fight. They bite. They fight. Anyway. This movie took me back to when I was a kid. A much simpler time. These sophisticated techniques that we use nowadays to make movies, they weren't being used when I was a kid. No. That's why I think we're taking it for granted. Granted. Dr. Grant? Isn't that funny? That's like a novelistic technique to name your characters adverbs, verbs, and nouns, right? It's like Dr. Grant, he's always looking for grants to fund his digs. He's a digger. Anyway. This movie really brings out a lot of wonder, a lot of amazement, a sense of adventure. The Universal Studios ride when it first came out, amazing ride, Took me right back to when I was a kid on the Universal Studios tour, and they had the shark coming out of the water. The orange hats that the animal handlers wear, very iconic. So is the bright yellow Jurassic Park logo. By the way, we've got the Lost World here, which is also good. And then, of course, this is the original. This movie spawned so many an animated series, so many video games. Just so much content came from this one book, Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. The sound again, amazing. Isla Nublar, when they first fly in, is amazing. You guys got to see this. Industrial Light and Magic did the visual effects again. I think we already talked about all that. Let's go to Rotten Tomatoes and see what they got to say about all this. Movie info. In Steven Spielberg's massive blockbuster, paleontologists Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler and mathematician Ian Malcolm, chaotician, are among a select group. And I'm here talking to myself. That's chaos. Anyway. Or among a select group chosen to tour an island theme park populated by dinosaurs created from prehistoric DNA. Pretty good. PG-13, intense science fiction terror. Yeah, this is an adventure, action, sci-fi, mystery, and thriller. I'd call it a techno-thriller again, but, we're not going to split hairs here. The release date in theaters originally was June 11th, 1993, but then it was re-released just this year, August 25th, 2023. Streaming began May 18th, 2015. It's got a runtime of 2 hours and 6 minutes. Again, it has the sound mix by DTS and also Dolby, surprisingly, because they were competitors. Who played... What's the name of... Wayne Knight. That's the guy that played Dennis Nedry. Dotson. We've got Dotson here. See? Nobody cares. That was probably what what Nissan said when they changed their names. Anyway, Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie again. Hold on to your butts. I think he says it twice. This is one of the reasons this movie, because the reasons why he is the most successful financially in all of actors in Hollywood. Samuel L. Jackson really is a great actor, though. I've loved him in Spike Lee's movies. I don't know if it was Do the Right Thing, or was it Mo Better Blues, or maybe Jungle Fever. I'm not sure. But yeah, he is a great actor. I loved him in Django. I mean, Pulp Fiction. Jackie Brown is my favorite all-time Tarantino movie. But I digress. You guys got to see this movie, but if you watch it, make sure you watch it not on this thing right here. Watch it on the big screen with big sound.